Friends, a warm welcome to my channel. Well friends, in today's video we are going to discuss about a very basic level understanding of candlestick charts. The reason why I am making this video is because these days a lot of people, the newcomers or even the people who have been investing for a longer period of time, they have shown a lot of interests in terms of day-to-day trading, because this is something which you can actually gather knowledge in your free time as well. So it's very easy thing to understand, but there are basic terms that you need to know. Those are the terms that you don't understand when people talk about them, or you go through the news channels, or you read any article, or you watch any YouTube video. So understanding those basic terms is very important. So in this video I'll try to explain those terms in a very simple layman's terms, so that it's very easy for you all to understand and keep on doing your own trainings and stuffs like that. So let's begin. In today's video, first thing that is a blocker for everyone, why people refrain from getting more information, is basically using a lot of parameters and a lot of indicators. This chart that you see, it's basically Thirumalai Chemicals 60-minute chart, and you see I have used like 5 moving averages, I have Bollinger Bands, I have parabolic curves, and I have trend charts, and I have used the RSI. I have used a lot of parameters. So what it ended up is showing you a complicated structure, which is absolutely something you're not getting out of it. So obviously when you are a beginner, when you're starting with anything, you have to make sure that you're not using any extra parameters or extra things that you may not need. Basic price action, where the stock is moving, whether it's a bullish one, whether it's a bearish one, that should be fine enough for you to start with. So the same chart that you are seeing on the screen, so forget the indicators and let's see the same chart again. So if you see the same chart again, see it's how clean it looks like now. It's basically the same chart, 60-minute Thirumalai Chemical, but without any parameters. So that clearly pretty much shows you that you can see at somewhere around 10 and 11, this range, it has actually given some big candles with bullish face. Then again it has shown some consolidation and there was a bearish face. So it's basically gives you some idea about the chart when you are not using too many parameters. But obviously parameters are something that you have to be gradually using. So in this diagram that you see, or in this chart that you see in front, it's basically State Bank of India. As you can see, State Bank of India 5 minutes chart, and this pretty much chart shows you all the green and red candles. Why I'm using green and red candles is because people are fascinated with this color. Obviously otherwise this chart was also pretty much making the same thing. Now when we talk about what exactly candles are, I'm just giving you the starting point of this. So all these rectangular structures that you see is known as candles, and this candle are formed depending upon what selection criteria you have made. So in this chart you can see that I have selected 5 minute candle chart. So obviously when you pick up a data like that, this data is known as naked price action. Why naked price action? Because this data is showing you no other parameters. It's just basic the volume and price. So the at what price, how many volumes have been taken and stuffs like that. So we call this as naked price action. Now if you understand the basics of candlestick, so here you can see all the candles are formed. So let's understand what candlesticks are all about. So candlestick, any bullish candlestick, obviously you can see it's a green candle or any other color that you use. So when you actually have a price more than the previous one, you get a bullish candle. When you have a price lesser than the previous one, you get a bearish candle. So obviously if the stock is trading at 100 rupees and next time the stock trades at 99 rupees, you will definitely get a bearish candle or a red candle. It will show a candle downside. And now that same stock, if it is trading from 100 to 101, it will show a bullish candle, which is one candle above that same trading level. So this is very basic thing that you guys are already aware of, but there are certain technologies that you should be knowing about. So I'm just going to give a breakup of that as well. So a bullish candle, as I've shown, the bullish candle shows that the price has increased over the selection period, and obviously bearish is the opposite of it. It shows the price has decreased over the selection period. Now when I'm saying selection period, there are a lot of options. You can select from 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, 1 day, monthly. So people who are long-term investors, they invest for decades, they actually go for generally monthly charts. So they'll look for monthly breakouts wherein the stock has actually come out of the range after like 1 year or so. Says this stuff, like they trade on those parameters. There are people who are not exactly long-term investors, but they are short-term investors, so they focus mainly on you can tell them either day chart or at the max 4 hour to 2 hours hourly charts. But obviously the scalpers who actually have to pick up the prices at a very granular level, they generally go for 1 minute or less than that. But in general, day to day, the people who are actively into trading, they go for this 3 minutes or 5 minutes. That depends upon what exactly sector you belong to, which sector you are interested in. You have to actually select the parameter as per that. Now if I just give you an idea about what exactly this 1 minute or 5 minute or 1 hour will represent. So 1 minute will represent actually the average of that stock movement in that last 1 minute. It shows a candle for that, so you will understand in that last 1 minute whether it was a bullish or a bearish. Same goes for 5 minute, 1 hour or a day. So if you select a day chart, any candle that forms is actually a average summation of the whole day's period. Now if I explain you what exactly the candle is, any structure, any candle structure that you see on the screen basically will have a body. Now this body, we call it as a real body, so that is basically forming the main part of the candle. Now apart from that body, if you go into more details of that body, you will actually understand that in that body, the top of the section, if it is a bullish candle, if it is a positive candle, if it is a green candle, top of the candle we know it's a closing price and bottom would be the opening price. So if now opening price and closing price is obviously relating to the last candle that we have. As I've said in the previous example, if the stock price is trading at 100 rupees and you get a candle formed at a strike price or maybe at a stock price of 101 rupees, so obviously for that the closing price of the previous candle is 100, so it's basically 1 rupee above that, so obviously it will form a green candle. So closing price for any green or any bullish candle will definitely be at the top of the candle. So the top of the candle is known as closing, and obviously the bottom would be the opening price, because the closing price is always higher than the opening price. Now exactly this is opposite in case of a bearish candle, because in a bearish candle, when the opening price is actually lower than the closing price, so that time it will actually form a bearish candle, because in the same example that you see on the screen, it's exactly opposite. So the closing price for a green candle is actually the opening price for a red one, and the opening price for the green is actually opposite, that is going to be the close for the red. So that will pretty much decide whether which side this actually stock is going to take a movement. Now if I give you some more details, when you actually look into, if you zoom out more into that candles, you will see there are small sticks kind of thing that forms. So basically those sticks that you see, we call it, either someone call it tail, someone call it head, because that tail and head varies from which actually movement it is, if it is a bearish one or if it is a bullish one. Now if you look into this particular picture, you will get an understanding that, say for example, in this bearish or the green one, which is the bullish candle, there is a top section, right? So that top section is basically that highest price during the time period, correct? If you are selecting say 5 minutes, so in the last 5 minutes, the top price of that 5 minutes is the top head of that particular candle, and the lowest is going to be in that same 5 minute, even though it is a green candle. So the last candle, the last 5 minute average is more than this one, or is it less than that one? Obviously it will be decided the movement on basis of that. So if the average price of the last 5 minutes is more than the current market price, then obviously it will create a bullish candle. Now for that bullish candle, the top that the section that you see, the top section is called as the wick. Now candlestick in normal terms, if you know, the wax part is the candle, and then we have the wick wherein we actually light that, right? So wick is the top part of it and tail is actually the lower part of it. Now there is also a term called a shadow that people uses it. So shadow actually can be used for both. It can be a positive shadow, it can be a negative shadow, but pretty much tail and wick is what we use it. So in case of bearish candle, if you see highest price during the time period, it's exactly the same. So basically the wick portion is the highest price during that time frame. Forget about the positive or negative, but head and tail is what it gives you an idea that it is the highest price in that period, and it is the lowest price in that period. Now over if you look into a snippet from live Nifty chart, you will get an understanding that this is how the charts look like, the green ones and red ones. I have just taken a random snippet, so this will give you a more broader view. Say for example, some of the charts, some of the candles you see has got both head and tail, or you can call it wick and tail, but some of them you see there is no wick at all, right? Just the body and then the tail, which means that in the time frame that you have selected, maybe 5 minutes or 1 minute, it has actually stayed in the same price. That's why it has not created a wick or a head, or you can call it as a, maybe it has not formed a shadow, right? For example, in this particular chart, you see this is also a bank Nifty chart. Is exactly here, if you see in the first one, which has a rounded up, you can see there are like 1 2 3 continuous bullish candles, and then there is a small bearish one, and there is a bullish candle again. So it has actually given a bullish movement. The next one, if you see, it's a bearish candle. The next one again a bearish, and the final one, it has actually given big gap up jumps, and it has created a bullish candle, correct? So this pretty much, the diagram will now give you an idea whether the stock is going to move. So if you have continuously 2 to 3 bullish candles, then definitely you will see some consolidated, some price consolidation. So it can also go up or go down, but it depends upon what the volume is. So that is pretty much we have to discuss in the next section. This video was purely to explain you how candles are formed, what candlestick is, what shadows are, what tails are, what wicks are. So I am hoping that you would have understood something out of it. So if you have liked this content, do subscribe to this channel, so that when I upload the next series of videos, you always get a notification and you actually make something out of it. Depending upon how many people like it and how many comments I get and stuff like that, I'll try to create a follow-on videos, because this is the first thing wherein I have tried to explain you the candlestick. Now following on, for the next video series, I'll pick up individual candlestick patterns with the live examples, and I'll show you how to identify and trade them. If you have liked this video, do subscribe and share this in your network, so that a lot of people actually get the understanding of what candlesticks are all about. I'll be back with something informational as soon as possible. Take care.